Hello my beautiful beings and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a tutorial. It's fall and fall is one of my favorite seasons, so I figured we could do a nice fall look. That's what I have on here today. I'm really into the more burnt colors in fall, the yellows, oranges, reds, cranberries. I think they're beautiful colors, so that's what I wanted to do today. And I thought it'd be just a fun little look to get back into wearing makeup. I actually haven't worn much makeup for a while. I was sick for a little bit and then I've been working, so I don't really wear a lot of makeup when I work because I don't want to get any acne from wearing a mask. So it's gonna be fun for both of us. I get to sit down and actually play with some makeup for once, and you guys can follow this tutorial if you'd like. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I would absolutely love for you to join me in this tutorial today, and I'll be here to guide you through every single step of it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so for today I'm going to be starting with my eyeshadow first. For my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using two palettes. The first one is the Morphe Dare to Create palette. I've had this one for a while. I use it a lot, and I really like it. And I'm going to be focusing more on these colors in the palette. I want to do more of a cranberry look for it. And then I'm also going to dip a little bit into the Morphe and James Charles palette. And I've also used this one a good amount too. And I really like this one as well. And again, I'm going to be focusing more on that corner where like the cranberry shades and like the shimmers are. So I'm going to start with a base color. So for my base color, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Punch Me right here in this corner. And I'm just going to put that all over the lid to start with. That way we have a nice transition between the next shade. And I really like to take my time buffing in my eyeshadows, just going in like little back and forth motions, just to make sure it's really evenly blended and that there's no patchiness or no harsh color. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Mary, which is this one right here. And I'm going to start blending in right above the crease, so that we can start getting a little bit of that cranberry color. And I'm just going to do the same motion. Now I'm going to take the shade Boutique and I'm just going to use it to darken up the crease a little bit. Just really focus it right on the crease of your eye and pull it outward. Now I'm going to take the shade Passion right here, and I'm going to darken the outer corner of my crease. Just right on that outer corner. And I like to flick out my eyeshadow. That's been something I've really liked recently. If you don't like to flick out your eyeshadow like me, just round it. But I've really been into kind of giving it like a winged look. It really flatters my eye shape. Okay, so I went ahead and carved that out with concealer off camera, so that way it gave a more winged shape. And now I'm going to add a little bit more dimension out on these outer corners. with this shade Berry, just to darken it up a little bit on these corners right here. Now I'm going to carve out this inner portion of my eyelid so that I can put a shimmer on top of the lid, and I'm going to use this concealer to carve it out. This is the Tarte Sea Hydroconcealer. I bought a mini so I could see if I liked it or not. I haven't tried it yet, so if I like it, I'll let you guys know down in the comments. But I'm just going to use that to carve it out. This is my mirror, so if you see that in the corner of your screen, that's just my mirror so I can see what I'm doing properly. And I'm just going to stop right along here. I don't want to do a full cut crease. I don't want to completely cover my lid. I just want a portion of it covered. So that way I can blend it into the wing we just did. Just like that. And I kind of like to dab it near the end just to kind of blend it in with that eyeshadow a little bit better. Cut creases are always a little bit difficult for me because my eye shapes are pretty different. So they don't ever really turn out exactly the same. But if you have the same problem as me, you know, just try to get it as close as possible. You can always fix it up a little later with that eyeshadow that you're going to put on over top. So for the shimmers, I'm going to go in with this shade first. It's called Wig. And I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my eyelid. So I'm just going to go right in the inner portion. Just blend out slightly. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Halloween. And I'm just going to place that right on the center of my eyelid. And I'm going to blend in towards that first shade. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Trendy. And I'm going to put that into the outer portion of my lid, and I'm going to blend that in with the wing we made. So that everything connects together. And then for my eyelashes, I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And for now, I'm just going to coat the top of my eyelashes. Okay, now that my eyeshadow is done, I'm going to start moving to my face makeup. First off is foundation. Today I'm going to be using the Milani Screen Queen foundation, and I have this in the shade Nude Ivory. I've used this a few times and so far I like it. It's a good medium coverage. It doesn't feel too thick on my face, so it's pretty good so far. The only thing I don't like about it is that it does kind of settle into fine lines. So if you do have a lot of fine lines, I'm not sure if you'd like this. I like to take any foundation that's left on the back of my hand and I like to blend it on to my neck and my chest if I have a shirt that's hanging a little lower, just so that everything blends evenly. If you know your skin tone matches from your neck to your chest really well, you don't really have to worry about this, but my skin tone goes from really pink to yellow to kind of splotchy on my chest, so I like it to be even everywhere. Just a little bit, so it doesn't look too weird. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask on my face or my neck when I'm wearing makeup. Say hello! So again, for concealer, I'm going to be using the Tarte Sea Hydroconcealer, and this is the mini. And I'm just going to use a little bit of that underneath my eyes, a little bit on my forehead and my nose, on my lip, good bit on my chin, and sometimes I like to do the sides too, but only a little bit. I like to keep it more on the outer corners of my face. And then I'm just going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to blend that all out. I feel like personally for my face, it really helps to conceal just this outer portion of my face. I feel like it gives it some actual shape rather than doing it the whole way down my face. I feel like that just makes my face look flatter personally. I'm just going to blend this all out until it's nice and smooth. And it gives me a nice finish. Now I'm going to use my translucent powder. And for powder today, I'm going to use my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. I really like the scent of this. I think it smells amazing. And I usually only use a little bit because it does have more of like a pink orange tone to it. And sometimes if I use too much, it'll darken my concealer. So I just want to use a real little bit just to make sure that concealer is set. Typically when I use this translucent powder, I'll use a concealer that's a lot lighter than I usually would like. That way it'll darken it up a little bit when I set it. And I'm just going to put that on all the places where I put that concealer. Just to make sure it doesn't move. And I'll also take a little bit extra and I'll put it right on my brow line where my eyebrows will be drawn. That way it stays a lot longer and it doesn't get as oily through the day. Now that my foundation and concealer is on and set, I'm going to do the bottom lash line. And for the bottom lash line, I'm going to go back into the shade Passion, and I'm just going to use that shade for underneath. And I don't typically like to do a lot underneath my lash line. There's a lot of people who take it out pretty far. Personally, I don't like it on me. I think it looks a little weird. I do like how it looks on other people, but it's just not for me. I think my eyes are just a little too small for that. So I'll just take a little bit underneath the lash line, kind of like I'm lining it. And that's about it. Sometimes I smudge it out a little bit, but I usually like to keep it pretty tight to that lash line. I'm going to take my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara again, and I'm just going to take it along the bottom lashes. Moving on to my powder products. First is going to be my Urban Decay Beach Bronzer. This is in the shade Sunkissed. And I'm going to take that on one of my bigger fluffy brushes. It's angled, so it kind of gives a bit of a contour as well. And I like to go in kind of circular motions to blend it in. And that'll just help me warm up my face a bit more, and it'll help give it a little bit of shape. And then a little bit on the sides of my nose. So I'm going to take my Catrice Prime and Fine contouring palette in the shade Ashy Radiance. And I'm just going to take one of my little contouring brushes. This is one from Wetnwild. And I like to just, again, just on the outer portion of my face. And same side. And then I'm going to do underneath my chin a little bit. And then on the nose just a bit. I'm not huge on nose contouring. I already have a decently small nose. I just kind of like to define it. For blush, I have the Wet n Wild Color Icon Baked Blush in Hummingbird Hype. This was a part of their limited edition collection. I think it's really pretty. All of my lids end up breaking. I don't know why, but I still think these are really gorgeous. I don't hate shimmery blushes. I know a lot of people out there aren't a big fan of them. I think they're really pretty. I don't use them very often, but I thought it would look really nice with the eyeshadow, especially with the shimmer. So now I'm going to take my blush brush, and this is from Peache Cosmetics. I've been really loving the brushes. I've used them for a long time. And I just like to hit the apple of my cheek just a little bit. And then blend outward. And I don't use a lot of blush. I kind of like just a little hint. I think it looks really pretty. And sometimes I'll put a little bit on my nose. I see a lot of people doing that. I'm still considering if I like it or not on me. I think it's really cute. I just don't know if I like it on myself. I'll put a little bit just on the tip of my nose. As you can see, there's a little bit of a sheen when I turn my cheeks, but you can still see that kind of orange-pink color that comes through. Next, I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills X Amrezy highlighter. I really love this highlighter. I've used it a good bit. I think it's really pretty. It shows up on my skin really well too. Usually gold highlighters are too dark for my skin, and they end up just looking like a streak across my face. This one is actually light enough. And then I'm gonna just dip into it. I usually always go in the middle, as you can see from the pan. It just looks really gorgeous. It's not extremely blinding. It's definitely blinding. It's not extremely blinding, but it just makes your skin just look so wet and gorgeous, and I love it so much. It really just transforms any look. I'm always stunned by it when I use it. And then a little bit on my nose. And Cupid's bow. Then I'll take my finger and put a little bit into the inner corner of my eye. I'm gonna go off of camera real quick. I'm gonna do my eyebrows and then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back and my eyebrows are all filled in. Now I'm gonna get to the last part of this look, which is the lips. And for my lipstick, I'm going to be using this. It is the Marc Jacobs, and it is the new Nudes in the shade Dream Girl. And I really love this one. I've used it a good bit since I've got it. I think it's just a really pretty nude color. It's more like a pinky brown nude. And for me, it's more like of a darker nude because I'm so pale. But I think it's really pretty for fall. So I'm just gonna apply that. And it's not matte either. I'm not a big fan of matte lipsticks. They really dry out my lips. This is a really nice, shiny, moisturizing lipstick. I also want to add a little bit of glitter to the lipstick. So I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss. And this is in the shade Citrine. And it's just really pretty gold glitter color. I'm just going to put that on top. And I think it just adds a really pretty pop to the lipstick. Alright guys, and this is how the look came out. I think it turned out pretty good. Again, like I said, I'm going to leave an update on that concealer in my bio, so just keep a lookout for that. But other than that, I really like how this turned out. I think the eyeshadow is really beautiful. I love those palettes. Again, I've used those palettes a ton. There isn't a single look that I haven't liked with those two. And I'm really loving the highlight between the highlighter I have and the blush. And this lipstick, again, is just so smooth and soft and hydrating, and that's just what I love in a lipstick. I think that's a good lipstick. But yeah, I'm really just happy with how it turned out. If you guys like this look that I created today, maybe like, possibly subscribe for more videos like this. I'm always happy to do tutorials. If you guys have any ideas for tutorials, I'll definitely take those too. But this is all for this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!